is up and running, and it will be available if anybody's got any questions to be able to call in, and that information will be passed on, and those questions will be answered. They might not be answered directly when you call the number, but they will collect information so that we can answer the questions that those people answering the phone might not know.
Jim, is there a marketing kind of campaign associated with this to kind of get this out there so people will know where to find it and go?
Today's meeting is the key component for getting this going. We were waiting for taglines and making sure that web domain was up and running before we did that last. So yes, and again, the recommendations from this group is going to go to county council, and I would anticipate county council seeing this on their second meeting in February for approval of what we talk about today here to send as recommendations. Okay.
Now, Mr. Chair, if I recall a previous meeting, we would, when road projects start, right, we would make signs so that people know that that construction is associated with their penny. Is that?
Yeah, yes.
So that's part of the marketing, Mr. Chair.
And again, on those signs, I would anticipating having that number and the website available. We talked about a QR code being available, and again, that's being worked on and being established. But again, we were hoping that our meeting in October was going to make things happen a little bit faster. We needed to go back and do some homework. That homework is being brought to you today.
Thank you.
We have,
again, the tagline, your penny, our roads, our green future, and we did develop
a seal for the program that is being presented today. We basically looked at the Jasper County seal and try to incorporate all portions of that as part of what we're proposing, and to have the tagline on the bottom as part of it, and again, road and green space on the bottom half of the circle. So again, unless there's comments or concerns, we'll be asking you to approve that seal today as part of our recommendations.
Should we put your picture right in this spot here, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
That'll slow them down.
Point of order.
I am good with it. I don't know if the mayors, if y'all have a consensus with this seal, or if you want to add, take away.
I think it's outstanding. I love it. I really do. Whoever did it, my compliments. It looks excellent. I love the wildlife in there. It's great.
Good deal. I will pass that on to
Might want
those
to
that
have
contributed.
an alligator crossing the road or something. I think you have enough wildlife in there. I think it's great. I love the having the website and the hotline number. And I would suggest that all of our social media get this on and make these announcements. When you're ready to go to the website, announce the website, the hotline number. If we all get it on our social media, it'll get out there quite a bit.
Again, I would anticipate that going out last week in February, early part of March. Again, the county council, I think, needs to bless our recommendations here, and that will happen. I'm anticipating our second meeting in February.
So, Mr. Chair, you gave me an idea. What if we make this announcement at the State of the County address on the 11th? So it'll be past county council at that point, and you can, but really make it part.
Roll it out.
Yeah, ask the chamber to make a rollout announcement or something.
So for the March 11th.
For the March 11th.
Have that ready to go to the public for
And And they can kind of distribute it to the masses with all the key players that will be in there.
I'm getting head nods from
our program manager that is something that we can make happen.
Good. I think it's all excellent. So that's my opinion.
I like it as well. I think Mayor Malphus likes it as well. So I think we'll endorse it at the appropriate time.
That's good. Other updates, getting into some meat and potatoes of the program itself. We did finalize our IGA with Hardyville for engineering
services related to improvements between, on 278, between Exit 8 and John Smith Road. Hardyville has retained Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated in the amount of $935,299 for the engineering. They've also did some survey work out there, and Nandino did that as part of the project for a cost of $23,500. We had a meeting this morning with SC DOT to talk about the timing and some of the particulars about getting that 278 program up and running in the intersection of John Smith. And that was a productive meeting. We discussed project timing and coordination. Soil borings will happen, and you'll see the soil boring crews out there probably within a couple of months. And we will give you updates as we have continual meetings with SC DOT to work on that coordination. We have SC DOT wants to make sure that the I-95 work that's being done and this project on 278 and John Smith is all coordinated, so that we're not tripping over each other. And so that's what we discussed this morning. And again, we need to do some homework and make sure that we get everything aligned before we can talk about construction dates and when we'll have people out there. So again, that's some stuff that we are working on. We're just kicking off that stuff, but again, we're moving forward with this project, and Hardyville is helping us take the lead on that, which is greatly appreciated. On January 8th, I met with LATS requesting changing the tip for Argent Boulevard project. I requested $12 million in federal aid for Argent Boulevard construction in FY 2028. That seemed to be something that at the staff level that was supported. Beaufort County was in the room when we were talking about it, and their staff seemed to support it, so you will probably see that coming through LATS as a change amendment requesting $12 million in federal aid for construction on Argent Boulevard. There was previous amounts in federal aid for design engineering. I believe that was can't remember the amount, but it was a lower amount. And we made a decision that to keep the design engineering as part of the 1% funds and just ask for federal construction dollars on Argent. So that is moving forward. A meeting was held with, yes.
Will requesting federal funds require additional permitting requirements that will delay the project?
It will require some additional requirements, but we weighed that in terms of getting $12 million and those additional requirements, and we don't think that will significantly delay the start of Argent. I think a lot of stuff that's going to go on with Argent will fit in that time frame with going through the federal processes of clearance. Environmental clearance is probably the biggest additional time frame there, but I think where we're at with design and all the things that have to happen before we can get a shovel out there in Argent, that again, $12 million is worth that additional cost. If it was only I want to say 1.5 or $2 million that they were offering initially for engineering, definitely not. But if we can get $12 million, which is about 20% of what we're anticipating the project cost being out there, that makes it worthwhile, Mr. Mayor.
How soon will LATS get that on the agenda?
That will probably be at their next meeting when they're talking about the tip and changing the tip. And again, that will be voted on by the LATS committee. There is a meeting in mid-February for the technical committee to review that. And again, we will be talking about that at the technical committee, and then we will be giving a recommendation to the policy side at the next meeting.
Probably March 27th, I would assume.
Yeah, so
meeting.
again, I'm not setting that agenda, but I assume it's going to be on that, but I don't control that.
All right.
We'll try to control it, or, no, recommend.
Yes.
I'll speak to Stephanie.
Yeah.
A question, Jim. You know, I know the scope of work for 278, and the sales tax referendum gives money for widening the entire length up to the county line, correct?
Yes.
Has there been given any thought, or just to put the thought in your mind, either one, we're not going to do the whole length of 278, obviously. You're going to do that first section to coordinate with Exit 8. Is there any thought about controlling or monitoring when it goes down from 3 to 2 lanes? And you don't have to answer that. Just put a thought in your head how that's going to work for that X period of time before the entire length gets done. How do we control it safely? Maybe you don't open up the third lane right away, whatever. Just give it some thought, please.
With a signal going in at John Smith, that is going to help control that. I don't think that's ultimately the answer. There will be some backups, obviously, going from 3 to 2 in one direction, but with a signal being there, that's going to help minimize some of your concerns. It's not going to alleviate all the concerns that you have.
Yeah, it alleviates some when there's a red light, but when there's a green light, you know, just give it, I'm not an engineer.
We will make sure that we have the best tapers that we can possibly have past John Smith to make sure that there is a smooth merge from 3 to 2. I can tell you the other thing that we talked about when we had the meeting with Buford staff and Stephanie was that the other 2 legs of the triangle project and how that might affect what we're doing, which is the next step on 278, right? And if Beaufort County can fund their side, then it might make more sense for the next project on 278 to be towards between Argent and 170. And if they can't fund that side, then the next logical project would be from John Smith heading towards that way. So again, depending on what goes on at that interchange and whether that can be widened might affect how we bring back to you the next recommendation of where we want to work on 278.
Great. My understanding from Beaufort County, they formed a committee that will recommend the projects for a 2026 referendum. And it's my understanding that there's great hope that that committee will put the rest of the triangle on the referendum. And if that could get passed, it would solve some of our decisions.
Yes, yes. So just letting you know that that's being worked on at the staff level, and those things are being considered by us at staff to make sure that we are prepared no matter which way it goes.
Great, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
We had a meeting with SCDOT this past Wednesday about our intergovernmental agreement with SCDOT. Mr. Fulgrim did write a letter to SCDOT requesting that they do not charge us any review cost, which is their standard practice for all sales tax programs, but we have asked that that be waived so that we can spend more money on the road rather than on review and engineering time. So we will see how that plays out. We're expecting an answer here within the next month or so. That's not something that they can answer here locally with the folks. That's going up to the Capitol and their legal counsel stuff. So again, we'll wait to see what their reply on that letter is. The final big item I have here is last month or last meeting in October, we talked about an IGA with Hardyville in the county for a Palmetto Electric utility relocation. I have met with Hardyville staff. There was that cost to do that work was $707,909. My the IGA would recommend that we use our sales tax money to help make that utility relocation, with the caveat is if we have to relocate that utility a second time as part of our Argent Road project, that Hardyville would reimburse some of that cost back to the program. That cost we're anticipating to be no more than $217,472. And I think that solves a lot of issues for everybody, that we are only spending our 1% money once. A majority of the relocation is behind existing structures that we know won't affect, but there is some that is, I would say, just south of the shortcut road intersection that might end up being having to be addressed again, and that's that $217,000. So I think that is a reasonable thing for both parties. And so with that, my recommendations are as follows. I recommend the tagline for County Council to be "Your penny, our roads, our green future." Recommend the logo to County Council as presented, and recommend to the County Council signing an IGA with Hardyville for Palmetto Electric utility relocation, which is needed for the new signal being placed at the intersection of Argent and Shortcut Road in the amount of $707,909. Those are my recommendations to the committee, and if you would take positive action on it, I would appreciate it.
Do we need to take action to recommend this up to county council
County
today?
Council, I think that would be appropriate.
Consensus, Mr. Mayor?
I'd make a motion that we accept Mr. Iwanicki's recommendations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'll be around after if you have any individual things you want to talk about.
All right.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. All right, moving along, Mr. Larson with the Greenbelt update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Most everybody in the room knows me, but just for the audience that may be watching online, I'm Eric Larson. I'm the Division Director for Development Services for Jasper County, newly hired. So everybody in this room probably knows more about this Greenbelt program than I do, but I will give you an update on where we're at with it. The ordinance will go for first reading next Monday at County Council. I will distribute a copy of that ordinance when it's ready. We're doing some last minute changes through the county attorney's office. And so that is not exactly ready for distribution just yet, but it will be by Monday. As you know, it's about $94 million, 20% of the funds that are raised through the referendum is the budget for this. The ordinance itself, just to give you a bullet point of what's in that ordinance, it establishes a Greenbelt Committee, which at this time it's the intent to appoint the same body that before us today for transportation pending to be the Greenbelt Committee. That's the recommendation coming from the consultant and I guess this group as a whole from past meetings. 4-year terms for those. The ordinance establishes the fund bank where the money is deposited and spent. The county's intent is to hire a third party to manage this program. There will be a staff liaison within the Development Services Office that will be the go-between between the consultant and the staff and the committee. Main reason for doing this is impartiality, having a neutral third party to review all the applications. The ordinance then goes on to define what are the criteria that will be used for the program, which you're well aware of. The consultant, once on board, we will develop a scoring rubric, which will put numbers to those criteria so that when applications come in, there is a standardized method to evaluate each request. The intent is to do quarterly applications. So the first quarter that we'll start this will really be dependent on how quickly the committee gets, quickly the consultant gets selected. We'll have to do an RFP for that to get those proposals and get that program up and running. Last thing is that the ordinance also covers the compliance portion, annual reporting, oversight by the third-party consultant to assure that once a property is put into this program, either through a conservation easement or a fee simple purchase, that the conditions of the program and the conditions of the grant are being maintained year after year. So that is an update of where we're at. Again, first reading will be on Monday, so by the middle of March, we should have the ordinance in place, and then we'll be working on getting an RFP put together so that we can advertise that and get our consultant management company on board. So,
Any questions?
And I'm looking over my shoulder at Andy to make sure I didn't say anything wrong.
Any questions for Mr. Larson?
Yes, I always cringe a little bit when I hear the word consultant because I'm a cheapskate and I don't like to spend money. If we're going to collect 94 million, I'd like to spend 94 million on buying land or conservation easements. Is there or are there any qualified nonprofits like the Land Trust and Kate Schaefer? Or do you need another level of expertise that we have to go out and get a consultant?
Well, we're going to try to find somebody that can have the ability to manage this process and is knowledgeable of the program. The problem that we're going to run into, quite honestly, is that the people like Kate Schaefer and the organization she represents, they're going to be applicants. And so they're going to have a conflict of interest.
Right.
So
Okay.
understand your concerns, and we'll continue to discuss that and see exactly how we want to do that. The ordinance gives us the option to. It doesn't define that we do. It does provide that option.
And does Beaufort County's had that money for their past referendum? Did they use a consultant?
I believe they were using Open Land Trust, Beaufort County Open Land Trust.
I know they had a
I haven't been following it very close.
committee the size of Congress that.
Correct, but they did hire outside management of the program and outside counsel, because they've got the attorneys from Charleston as well, so they've got two professional services.
That just keeps the impartiality with everything to.
Correct, and it does help to alleviate the burden on staff of having to obtain appraisals, to track down a lot of the due diligence stuff that comes with some of those things.
That's a very good point. That's where the consultant really comes in. Our third-party management provider, we'll call, we won't use the word consultant.
Okay.
The legwork that's involved with due diligence and the expertise that's required to do real estate closings of this type.
So, and maybe just one quick question as it pertains to the Greenbelt. If someone or some property went to apply for this, what's the timeline for kind of cradle to grave between start and closing on one?
That is a good question. It's defined within that. Some timelines are defined within the ordinance and some of the guidance material that Kate has provided you in the past. I think I'm speaking off the top of my head here. It was like a 45-day due diligence period after the applications were received and processed, and a closing date. You could look at something, well, with quarterly applications, you would hope that maybe the applications were fleshed out and the final decisions made and action taken before the next round comes in. But if I recall, it was about a 90-day process.
Okay.
But please don't hold me to
I
that.
won't.
I would tell you, from seeing Beaufort counties in action, some of that stuff can move a little bit quicker, but to go from an application to evaluation to due diligence to closing, typically about a 6-month process.
And that's where the third party comes in very handy with that.
Correct, because if you're going to do a survey, if you're going to do an environmental assessment, all the things that you probably should do as your due diligence, all that gets rolled into there. But there's some back and forth because you bring forward the application, it gets scored, it's worthy enough to invest in the due diligence, you get the due diligence, you bring it back, it gets then recommended again, then it goes to closing, and so you add all those up and it's realistically probably about 6 months.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I am very hopeful, and I believe that a majority of the applications that you're going to get are going to be large ones with multiple funders that will also be doing simultaneous due diligence. And so I think the timing won't be as critical as long as they know that you're a component of funding a larger project. It's just a matter of when your funds are available.
Perfect.
Mr. Chair, it brings up one other question. We all know that if property A becomes public, the price will go up. Can we take precautions to protect the identity of these applications? Maybe executive session, I guess that's for the lawyers to have those reviewed and put out for due diligence before it becomes public?
It's typically
How it's done, yes, sir.
Okay.
Those purchases would be done in executive session.
much like any other purchase would.
Any other questions, Mr. Larson?
All I have.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right. Next up, we have general discussion. Do I have anything from the mayors or the managers or anybody in the crowd? All right. So I believe we'll move on to our next item, which we were working on, where we were having some technical difficulties, and I believe we have settled on March 13th at 10 a.m. at the county building for our next meeting that Ridgeland will be hosting. Is that where we're going to be with March 13th?
That's good for me.
In terms of Ridgeland hosting it, I'm gonna have to, I'll have to, defer to, the folks who own the facility, in terms of, lining up the equipment, that kind of stuff, and,
I believe we can get you taken care
I guess
of.
that would be you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Does that, Mr. Mayor, does that include donuts and coffee?
I don't drink much coffee, but that's something.
All right, so March 13th at the county building at 10 a.m. will be our next meeting. Any other discussion or anything else for the better cause?
Great meeting and great job, Jim and everybody. I love what you've done. Terrific. Thank you.
All right, thank you all, and we will have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.